Okay, guys, welcome along again to IG8Live Esports, and this evening we're live with Midwest F1 Esports League Division 4 for round 2 and the Monaco Grand Prix, getting started with our short qualifying session. At the moment here, we got quite a few cars out on track. Full grid of 20 drivers on this, so going to be a very busy circuit here at Monaco, just getting through qualifying session. So let's see what the lap times are going to look like. We should have a few of those start to come in pretty soon. As I can see, a few of these guys are already on their hot laps getting through. We already got a Williams out of the session into the barriers on the side there. As we can see, one of the Alfa Romeos just went by, so already getting a bit chaotic on track. We'll see what the rest of the session has to offer. We'll see as you guys get on through this. So far, no lap times in as yet. Still got a lot of time. We're just about 15 minutes still left in this. Just about 3 minutes off so far. So we'll see where the guys stack up as they get through the session, and how close and the gaps are going to be as qualifying goes on through. And that is the Alfa Romeo out there as well. So 2 drivers out of the session so far already, and absolutely no lap time in. Getting just seems to be a bit difficult for drivers as they get through here. So let's see who's going to be the first one to possibly make a lap time in. We're on with DDL at the moment, following through in the McLaren. And let's see if he's able to possibly get a time. Oh, we already got a time. So Static Hazard goes 1:11. We got a pileup happening here in I think in sector 1 there. We got Alfa Romeo, McLaren, and an Aston Martin involved in that. Yes, there, and I think quite a few cars out as well. So very busy circuit that we got going on here, and it seems to be causing a bit of issues with some of the drivers trying to get their laps in, and those that are stuck on track. So Static currently at 1:11.5. We got Grumpy at 1:12.1. Freeman at 1:13.2 so far. We're waiting to see where the rest of the drivers are gonna get through with this. We got Heavy in the Red Bull trying to get around here in sector 1 right about now, getting to sector 2 now. Let's see if he's gonna be getting held up at any point during the session or not, or if he does get on through with a lap. So 3 drivers currently out of the session here for the qualifying, and going to be a bit difficult on them in terms of starting further down the field. As we know, it's very difficult getting overtakes done here at Monaco, so this might just make their race just that much more difficult to actually get some points here for the team, for the constructors, and for the drivers championship itself. We'll see if we can have a quick look maybe at some of the standings. We'll probably call that out a bit just later on, and see where the guys are currently at with that. So we still got the Heavy getting around in the Red Bull at the moment. Leclerc goes at 1:10.2, fastest in the session so far. I think that's in the Haas there. We'll see if that time is going to hold off as a provisional pole here for Monaco at the start of this race, and so far looking good for him as he gets quite a bit of a gap to the rest of the drivers currently on track. Heavy now goes at 1:11.501, just about 500th of a second off the time of Static. So far so good for him as he gets through with that time. I'm going to switch on to someone down at the bottom. Let's see where Peter is in the Ferrari here as he gets through into sector 3 now. No purple sector so far shown on his current lap time, and that's a Ferrari out of the session there. A pretty horrific accident there. Both suspensions on the front side of the car are gone there, and that's going to be his qualifying over. Hopefully that's get fixed before the race session itself. Let's see who else is currently on track. Girls here in the Alpha Tauri currently getting around. That's someone's star left on track. So this has been quite an eventful session so far, and we still got enough time to get on through this. Let's see how the drivers are going to finish up. This is going to be quite interesting, especially for the start of the race. We got Valentine there, 1:30.5, not the best of lap, but he still made a lap time in whatsoever you call it right now on track. Waiting for Carres here to get a lap in. Currently in sector 2 at the moment, getting through this. Let's see if he's able to finish off this lap. Quite a few drivers out, at least 4 I think is out of this session so far. So we still got about 16 drivers to get some lap times in here, but it seems to be a very dangerous situation on track right about now in terms of car just ended up in the barriers and whatnot. So let's see what's going to happen as we get on through the rest of this. Okay, so Perez goes across with a 112.6, puts him up on the grid around P6 for now, so I think that's going to hold pretty well. Let's go around to the rest of the drivers that we got here. Marfola here in currently 9th on the grid, but no timing, so just going to have to just stick that around there for now. Let's see where he is currently getting through sector 2 there as well. getting out of the tunnel section of the track here. Heavy braking zone. Let's see how he gets on through with this. So far so good. Hopefully he's able to, I know, unfortunately invalidates the lap there, so that's going to be it. As to try that again, get a rescue here in the next Red Bull, trying to get around that same portion of the track, and invalidates at the same point where the Mercedes did it as well, and he's out of the session. And that's going to be it for his qualifying there. Let's see who else is currently running on track. We got Dissection 79 here getting through in the next Alpha Tori there. Let's see if this is going to be a lap time or not, or possibly another DNF in the qualifying session. Has been very, very dangerous going on through with this session so far in terms of the amount of incidents we've had. Gets me a bit worried about what's going to happen in the race session itself when we do get started with that in just a bit. And we got just about 10 minutes left here in qualifying, and then we go straight on into the start of the Monaco Grand Prix here for Division 4 with Midwest F1. And that's a lot of carbon fiber coming off of that car as he still gets around, still pushing as much as he can, possibly still trying to get a lap time, and I think he's going back into the pits though, and yep, he does. So DDL10 here still trying for another lap on track here. I didn't have an eventful run on the previous section where he on the previous lap where he got into a bit of an incident with two other drivers who were kind of stuck on track a bit and tried to get through that, so that did affect his qualifying lap just a bit. We'll see if he's able to get through this current lap as it is here. You can see drivers are starting to get back out on track and possibly trying to get a better timing if they can before this session closes off. At the moment, Leclerc still fastest in this session at 110.2. Heavy still second fastest at 111.5. Just below that with Static is a 500th of a second below. And in third, and he now goes up in the second, gets past Heavy with a lap time of 111.4. Goes a 10 faster now. Pretty impressive lap. We have so Heavy down to third. We got Ulek is now in fourth at 111.8, trying to get another lap right about now. We got Grumpy into fifth right now, 112.1. DDL up to sixth now. Both McLarens into the top 10 so far in terms of starting positions at 112.4. We got Guerrillas down to 7 at 112.6. Freeman out of the session with a 113.2. Holds on to that time for now. Crustier with a 9 in ninth right now, 113.4. Valentine still at 130.5. In the Alpine, trying to get another time in if he can right about now. Not looking the best. Let's see what's going to happen. Down here we got Tim Lee in the Aston Martin right about now on an outlap. His teammate out of the session, I believe, or is he still in? I'm trying to have a look at. No, I think his teammate is Uleg up off above there, who's currently on an outlap as well, trying to get a better time in. And what he has there in P4 wants to get a better start on this race, and is definitely going to try to do it. We're going to get on board possibly a bit during this lap with the Aston Martin driver. And let's have a look. He has to watch out for those free rolling tires all around the track right about now, as that could just cause a serious accident at this point here, unless they're ghosted. But so far he's doing pretty well on this current lap, getting through sector 1 pretty good, and he does get through sector 1, not a purple sector 1, but still he gets through it. We need to get him through sector 2 and sector 3 just to get a full lap time in here, and hopefully he does not invalidate the lap here, as he's really trying to push through for this. To get through the tunnel section, looks like he's getting through pretty well. Let's see how he gets into this braking zone. Heavy into the left and then to the right, and then the left-hander. Looks like he gets through pretty well. Almost loses the car just a bit, and does lose the car, loses the entire front wing. The car is done for. That's his qualifying over there. So Tim Lee out of the session. We got B7 Racing on an outlap, just getting out of the pits right now. And I think they're running right about minimum time left in qualifying, because it's a short qualifying session, not a full one, so we're going to be running out of time very quickly on this. Majority, well, not majority, but quite a few cars are out of this session, some serious accidents, and there goes the Ferrari spinning around. That's his qualifying done for there as well. So B7 Racing out as well. Where is Dissection 79 at the moment? I think he's about to get across the line here. Will he? No, he's getting on an outlap, so he's getting started on his lap currently now. At the moment as we have it, we got 10 drivers with lap times in. Merfola's still trying to get a time in at the moment on another outlap. I think they're getting through Dissection, trying to possibly get a lap here. Let's see if he's able to actually put this one together. I think that was the wheel of the Ferrari still stuck in the guardrails on the side. As we have it so far, Dissection is getting through the track pretty well. I gotta be honest, I'm feeling very, very nervous about this race start that we're about to have very, very soon in another 7 minutes time or so, because we have a number of cars who've DNF the qualifying session so far, so it does make me a little bit worried about what's going to happen on the start, on the opening lap of this race. How many cars are going to get into a bit of an incident here? Are they going to be careful or are they not? And definitely we might be looking at a potential safety car for that opening lap, and maybe quite a few more after. It just depends on how things are going to go. But let's see what's going to happen in that case. At the moment, we have both AlphaTauri currently third and fourth on the grid for the start of the race. Leclerc still in the house in P1 at the moment, still a provisional pole start for him. Ulek a 110.7, a pretty good lap, but still on his second. His teammate Tim Lee out of the qualifying session so far. Valentin here up to P5 at a 111.2 at a 130 previously, but still got a better lap on there, starting down to 6 at 111.4 as it is. Let's see if anyone else is currently trying to get a lap in. Morfola back into the pits, and S7 as well there. Not sure if S7 has gotten out for a previous run for a lap here, but at the moment, again, looking at the purple sector so far from Dissection at the moment. Let's see if he's able to finish off sector 3 though, possibly to finish a lap and might get a faster time in, because I think that's what the aim is here at the moment. Let's see how that is actually working out as he gets across the line. Goes up to second fastest on the grid right about now, 110.5. Goes about 2/10 faster than what Ulek had, so not a bad lap there from the AlphaTauri driver. Might have had just a purple sector 2 and sector 3, not a purple sector 1, but still was good enough to put him up second for the start of the season. That's a pretty good position to be here, to be starting the Monaco Grand Prix in, and a pretty good position of possibly getting an overtake done into turn 1 against Leclerc on that start of the race. We'll see how that works out. 4 minutes left here in qualifying before we do get over to the race session itself, and trying to have a look who else is currently still running on track. Got here in the Williams Grand Prix trying to possibly get another lap in. Looks static now, goes up to fastest in the session, a 109.9, and a pretty impressive time that he just did there. So he's now on provisional pole for the start of the race. We'll see how this works. So we still got a lot of time in for another driver to possibly take that over before this session comes off to an end. And we're on with the Williams of Grand Prix here. Let's see if he's able to possibly put together a good enough lap that he can take away a provisional pole away from static at the moment as he has it. Doesn't seem like it's a purple sector 2. Not sure how his sector 1 was, and that's his race, well, his qualifying session over there. And I think that's because here in front of him, his car is out there as well. So definitely a lot of drivers out of the session right about now, and we got Red Bull getting in the way around this. Messes that up just a bit and had a purple sector 2, so was looking possibly at a pretty good lap and just messed that up through sector 3 there. So it seems like our drivers might not have had the amount of practice that they actually needed for this track, or just the setups are not working as they expected. I really hope there is absolutely no rain in the session, because that is just possibly going to mess things up just a bit for them in terms of getting to the end of the race as it is. I'm just wondering if some of these drivers might be deciding to take it slow and steady through the race, just to get to finish the race and get some points in, because everyone else might be DNFing the session with what we've been seeing in qualifying here so far. It has been quite an interesting session, but let's see how this goes on through. Still only got about 11 drivers at the moment with their lap times in, so we're still trying to figure out how many drivers will be actually getting a time in. I think majority of the rest of them are currently out. S7 still in the pits. Morfola there still trying to get a lap in the Mercedes, so we'll see how that's going to work out. Got Morfola getting back into the pits there as well. I think we got a few drivers are trying to get back out on track on outlaps here right now with just under 2 minutes left. Possibly to try and get another lap in if they can at this point here. So let's see how that's going to work out with them. We got the Alpine getting started on another lap here. Let's see if he's going to put this one together. And looks like he's not, because he already invalidated on turn 1 itself. So that's going to be a lap over for him. Goes here on an out lap. I think Ulek is currently on a lap here in the Aston Martin. Let's see if he's actually getting around pretty well on this. And a purple sector 2 so far on this lap with the Aston Martin driver. So he's looking pretty good. If he can finish off sector 3, might be looking at possibly getting a position or 2 more up the grid. Of course, we do have dissection on an out lap right now. A minute 10 seconds for him to get across the line. Let's see if Ulick improves on his time. And he does improve by one position. Goes up into third now for the start of the race. So 110.4 and only a 10th faster with dissection there. And he's currently on an out lap. We know he's getting started on a lap pretty soon. We do have S7 getting out right now down at the back there. I think in the next Haas he is driving. And looks like dissection getting started on lap already invalidated as it is there right now. So that lap is obviously over for him. Merfola getting out on the lap there. Will he have enough time to actually get around and actually get this lap started? 41 seconds remain in the session as we get on through this here. And I'm kind of highly doubting he's going to be able to get all the way around the track to get the lap started. We're on with S7 here in the house as he now gets started on his one and only lap I think already doing in the session here to possibly try and get a good lap time in to be starting somewhere on the front of the grid here for the race itself. Let's see if he's able to pull this through because he's taking a bit of a chance with this, and that's a purple sector 1 so far. Maybe he has his reason for this. Let's see what the sector 2 time is going to be like. And unfortunately, the Haas driver not having the best of luck at the exit of that tunnel section there. Looks like a bit of fire is about to get started there as well. What's happening, I'm not sure. Alright, so I think that's the end there, guys, for our short qualifying session here for Monaco. We're about to get started with this race pretty soon. We'll have a look at the starting order in just a bit, but has been quite eventful and quite interesting so far here in the short qualifying session for Division 4 from Midwest F1 Racing League so far. I think we're just waiting for dissection and S7's car to get into the pits, and I think that's going to be it for the session. We're going to have a look at these standings for that session and get straight over to the race. Hopefully there is absolutely no rain in this session, because I don't think that's going to go off too well with the drivers here, with the things that we have seen here in qualifying session and cannot be unseen. The amount of incidents we've had, I think that's first time I've seen so many accidents happen during qualifying session, but it has been just a short qualifying session. It's been quite a while, I think, since I've actually done a stream where we've only had a short qualifying session here from Monaco with a full grid actually of 20 drivers on it, so it got very busy with that. Did have still a lot of drivers having DNF, and remember the damage all these cars are just a bit more than what we used to have back on F1 2020. Okay, so there we have it. Qualifying results for the Monaco Grand Prix. Let's get started with this. So static is going to be starting on pole with this one. Leclerc will start second. We got Ulick starting third. Looks like dissection will start fourth. Girls starting fifth. Grand Prix starts sixth. We got Valentine starting 7th. Heavy starts 8th. DDL starts in 9th. We got Freeman starting 10th. Cross starts 11th. Merfola starts 12th. We got Ruskin 13. Nitwit starts 14th. Where's the rest of the grid? We got S7 in 15, Highways in 16, Flavius in 17th, we got Peter 18, Tim Lee 19, and Team B7 Racing in 20th on the grid to get started. Did go through that just right there, because I'm not sure if we're having a formation lap on this. I think we should be having one, but let's see what's going to happen as we get over to the race session. Okay, so here we go, getting around on the formation lap here right about now, about to get started with the race. So let's get our stats out too. So we will be leaving our lap later on. Details, let's have a look at the tires these guys are going to be choosing to start the race on. In the meanwhile, they are getting around. Just have a quick look back at our starting grid as it is. So looks like our top 10 are going to be starting on the soft tires. There we got Crosssteers in 11 starting on the hards, and of course just two drivers starting on the hards. Actually, the rest of the grid are on the bottom starting on the mediums. So quite an interesting strategy that's going to be running here. Of course, those starting on the softs out front might be looking at running a very short stint, especially if there's going to be a safety car on the first few laps or so. They might be looking at making a change in tires there. So we'll see how that's going to work out. And we're going to have one final look at the start grid just before we do get started with the race as it is there. So on pole, we got Static starting P1. Leclerc is going to be just alongside him there, second on the grid to just run with him getting into turn. And we'll see how those two handle that. Ulek there just behind of this India's Martin's going to be starting third. Section starts fourth. Steven behind him, he's starting fifth. Grumpy in the Williams starts sixth. We got Valentine in the Alpine starts seventh. It's Heavy in the Red Bull starts eighth. DDL in the McLaren in ninth. Freeman starts in 10th. Crosssteer 11. Morfola 12. We got Reskin 13, Nitwit 14, we got a 7 and 15, Highway starting 16, Flavia starts 17, we got Peter in 18, B7 Racing 19, and Tim Lee all the way down in 20th on the grid. His teammate, of course, starting third. We're going to see how this is going to work between the two Aston Martin. Both Mercedes side by side to each other on the grid here. So we'll see how this works between teammates, because quite about 3 sets of teammates possibly might be just next to each other on this run, getting on the run to start the race here. Might not go as well as expected, but might go as expected as well. We'll see what's going to happen though as we're about to get started here pretty soon. Just waiting on Tim Lee to get into his grid slot so we can have a quick look on how the race start is going to go. We're going to switch this back over to position changes. You guys will be able to keep an eye on that as these guys get started with this race. I'm just waiting for the final car to get into his grid slot here, which he is about to do here right now, and we should be ready to go here. So we're going to stay on board a bit with Leclerc. Let's take that off for a second. Keep an eye on the McLaren just out front of him there, and let's see how that's going to go between him and Static on the opening lap. And I think we're off. A bit of an equal start between them as they get on to run down into turn one. I'm going to switch this back onto the overhead camera. Let's have a look on how that goes through. And so far so good. Got quite a few cars trying to go side by side with this. This might not go well. We got a Williams having a problem at the back there, and I think that was possibly Valentine. Just one big pile up with the midfield there, and quite a few cars out of the session. We got an Alpine, Williams spun around, got an Haas. I think the entire front wing and the suspension is gone on that. I think a few cars trying to get around. Williams might be trying to spin back around, but he is going to be all the way down at the back of the grid. Virtual safety car so far for that situation happening there, and out in front, let's have a look. And let's see who's currently leading the race at the moment here. Looks like it's, I think it might be just a bit mixed up with the grid order, so I'm trying to see who is in front at the moment. There we go. So Static still in front leading the race. Of course, we got Ulek just in second, Leclerc behind of that with Dissection, followed by Garozia, then Freeman. We got Reska, Merfola, and Heavy following behind, and then Nitwood there. I think Grumpy just a further on bit behind. So we got a bit of a separation with the grid at the moment here. We got a set of cars out in front. We got some who are left behind, so they're kind of starting to get just a little bit spaced out as they try to catch up back to each other on that race start there. But quite a chaotic start on the opening lap on that first sector there, causing a virtual safety car, which we are still under here at the moment. So that means absolutely no overtaking, as that's easy to even get an overtake done around the track here. And we're getting around into lap 2 here now, so hopefully this virtual safety car will be over pretty soon. Trying to see what's happening, and there we go. So that's track green again, and we're back going. So hopefully everyone on the restart has gone pretty well so far. We got the Aston Martin of Ulek trying to get around the Haas here. Let's see what's going to happen between these two, but looks like Leclerc holds out the position there in second. Still a bit of a chase between them as they continue racing on through. I'm not sure what's happening with the rest of the grid at the back, but we do know we have quite a few pit stops for those cars who took damage on the start of the race there. S7 out of race. He was the one driver, the Haas, who was taken out of the opening lap. Still got cars getting around. We got quite a few pit stops still happening down at the back of the grid. Following on with the Aston Martin chasing after Leclerc out in front. A bit of a gap starting to form right about now. So we're trying to have a look what's happening out front, because it looks like Leclerc is actually catching Static. And this is going to be for the lead of the race. So let's see how well that's going to go between the two of them. Hopefully no one gets taken out at this point here right now, because they're trying to keep the laps clean as possible getting through the race itself. We're only on lap 2 getting through, about to get into lap 3. And this is going to be a 39 lap race. So far so good. Let's switch this back on over to possibly the tires. Have a look at what's happening. We know quite a few cars out front still having the soft tires on. We got Ulek into the pits, possibly took some damage. We're going to switch this off. I didn't actually take that up. So there we go. So let's keep a bit of space on track. DRS is now online as we are into lap 3. Still at about a 5-10 gap out front between Static and Leclerc, fighting for the lead, and these two have kept it pretty well so far and going on through. Freeman here chasing after Gross for 4th position, a pretty close gap between them. Reska following on in the Alpine just behind, so he's trying to keep up with them as much as he can. Merfola in the Mercedes just behind of that, but I think he has a bit of a gap to actually catch up with at the moment. We'll see if we're going to have any more incidents happen on track. Looks like Valentine is out to the race. The Alpine driver might have been taken out somewhere, and I'm not sure where that's happened. Looks like it's somewhere in Sector 3 there, as cars are seeming to get through that. We possibly might be able to catch what happened there. Still just a yellow flag situation with that there at the moment, and I think possibly not blocking the track, I'm not sure, but probably this depends on what the setting for safety car is at the moment. Might be why we don't actually have one here, because his car might be stuck in the middle of the track. They're going to have to be a bit careful. Actually, no, it's at the side. But still, a bit of a danger in terms of a car continuing to race on the track. So it's a bit of a yellow flag situation through Sector 3, I think, around there. Getting through for that. So Leclerc with the fastest lap so far. Let's have a quick look what's happening out front as he chases after Static, still fighting for the lead. And still a pretty close gap between them. Now down to about 3/10. So he's gained a few tenths so far since we last checked in with the two of them. Of course, we know he can catch up to the McLaren, but it's going to be another thing just to get past him on a track as narrow as this one here. So Monaco, very, very difficult to overtake. He's going to have to just line this up very, very carefully and be just a bit cautious about which portion of the track he's going to actually attempt to get this overtake done. Most likely, possibly around down the start-finish straight, or maybe getting through Sector 1 at some point into one of the braking zones. We'll see what's going to go. There is a possibility of him getting down on the inside of the end of the tunnel section here, but still has to be extremely close to actually pull alongside that McLaren and get that done. He's going to continue chasing after Static, and this is a pretty close chase between them. They're going to have to be very, very careful. If that McLaren gets taken out in front, it's going to cause the Haas to go off as well here, because he is following off very close behind. So these guys have to be extremely close with the gap that they currently have. Looks like Nit with just lost a position down there to Peter, and that's for 14th position so far in the race. A bit of a gap to dissection, and Gurus behind. Both AlphaTauris seemingly still running just behind each other. Right where they were started just behind side by side, and they're running 3rd and 4th in the race. Must be looking to get both car finishing pretty high up in the points. We got Reska chasing after Freeman there for 5th still, and it's about a 10th behind them. Let's have a look at how that's going. I think they're trying to go side by side a bit. Looks like Rester is keeping up pretty well with the Alpine in front of him. So interestingly enough, the race has gone interestingly well, to my surprise so far. I mean, the start was a bit chaotic, getting started with that. A bit of a pile up through Sector 1 on that opening lap, but can possibly happen. We've seen a lot of different things happen here on stream before. So so far, only 2 drivers out to the race here for the Monaco Grand Prix. I'll say that's a pretty good call so far with that. So I think they're doing pretty well. Out in front, still gap pretty close between the two of them. We're going to have a look in just a bit and see what's going on with that. At the moment, we're going to just go on through the field. We got Merfola here in the Mercedes chasing after Reska and Freeman in front. Just a bit of a gap for him to catch up with. DDL has a bit of a gap in front, but of course Ulek in the Aston Martin catching up pretty quickly behind of him. 2 seconds is what the gap is, and I think it's starting to gain a bit of time out in front there, the McLaren. So let's see how that's working out. Of course, Ulek running 9th. His teammate Tim Lee, who started 20th on the grid, is now running just behind him, about 5 seconds behind, 5.4 seconds to be precise there, and has the Williams chasing after him about another 3 seconds behind. So still a pretty close gap to that. We're on with the Williams of Grumpy in 13th. He's chasing after the Red Bull in front, 8 tenths behind at the moment. B7 Racing is currently out of this session. What's happened to him, I'm not entirely sure. That seemed to have happened somewhere down there in Let's have a look on board. We should be able to see there's his car stuck at the side of the track. Not sure what's happening. He might have hit the barriers down at the side there, and he's currently out of the session. So on back with Leclerc here as he chases after the McLaren in front of him. I think they're about to lap a car there, and this early on in the race as well here. That's Highway is currently running 16th. So as it is there right now, we got 3 drivers out of the session. We got 17 drivers remain to finish off the Monaco Grand Prix. Going pretty well so far as these cars still continue to maneuver through the track. And I think they're doing pretty well. We're on the rescue here. Let's have a pretty... It looks like a pretty close gap that he has. But as I said, it's very, very difficult getting an overtake done on the track. So these guys might be able to close the gap here, but just still might not be able to get an overtake done. And if they do push just a bit too much for this, it could potentially lead into a disastrous situation between both cars that might actually take both out. It looks like the Alpine is going to go into the pits there, and that's going to allow the rest to get back up into 5th right now and continue to chase after the AlphaTauris in front of him. And that's our leaderboard getting a bit crazy there right now. Still hasn't been fixed. This is over a year going with this game, and it's a new one. Still, we got a leaderboard problem. Let's switch this on through a bit here and have a look. Then we'll see what's up. So Euler chasing after the next McLaren in the game here. And that's DDL just in front of him. And no, it is not for 2nd place. As our leaderboard is now starting to get back fixed here. Now we got an Alfa Romeo slowing down at the side of the track. There's not sure what's happening with that as yet. We're going to have to check back in, see what's going on. But someone is slowing down at the moment. Now looks like someone gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring the blue flags. Does look like that Aston Martin cut the track just a bit there. Might have gotten a warning for that. Leaderboard is back sorted again. Out in front, Static still leads. Trying to have a look at what the gap is between the two of them. We'll have a quick look at that in just a bit. We're going to have a look at Freeman as well. I think he's getting back out to the pits now, is he? Let's get back on board with the Aston Martin and have a look. Looks like the McLaren in front of him is conserving energy just a bit. So harvesting energy there means he's going to be just a bit slower there. Of course, still a very, very difficult attempt at getting an overtake done here. I think he's trying pretty hard right about now not to put that car into a wall at the moment. So let's get back out in front actually. Have a look at what's happening here. Because it looks like our race leader is by himself at the moment here. Has a bit of a gap to Dissection, who's currently behind him by about a few seconds here. So it looks like we got a bit of space start to form out front. We got to clear down at the back here in 5th now. And I think he's on a pit stop. He's gone onto the medium tires and he's going to get on through the race with that. Trying to get back to where we possibly have a very close gap. And I think that's between Flavius and Freeman here. And that's for 9th position in the race so far. Let's keep an eye on these two as they continue to go on through. So on board with Freeman right about now as he chases after. Oh, and have a bit of a miss. Barely actually catches back that. And prevents the car from going into the barriers and getting any sort of damage there. So quite an interesting save from him as he still tries to get on through. Didn't even lose an end plate on that one. So that's actually some pretty good driving for him. And still catches back up with Flavius here and has a pretty good run down that start finish straight. He's going to try to take it on the inside and doesn't take the chance actually. Doesn't want to risk it on potentially getting some damage on his car in terms of breaking into turn 1. He might try going through sector 1 here. Let's see if he's actually able to pull that through, but still holds the position into P10 at the moment. So as we see, very, very difficult to attempt and overtake any other track. That would have been a driver trying to outbrake his I thought he was going to try to outbrake him once again there, but not going to push it through for this. Yeah, any other track, that would have been a driver trying to outbrake the other driver into a turn just to get a position up here. They would tend to take a chance with it, but not on this particular track here. They're going to just try to keep it as safe as possible. Highway's out of the race, unfortunately. Down to about 16 drivers left right about now. Still yet to finish the race. We're on lap 10 of 39 and getting on through. So still quite a way through this race more for to get through. And out in front looks like we got quite a bit of a gap working there as well. We'll have a look in just a bit, just following on through with these guys, see what is happening here with Ulek here right about now, chasing after DDL, about to get past him on the inside into turn 1, and actually holds it back. Doesn't risk it either. Just holds on to the position, even though that McLaren was harvesting energy, would have been a bit slow getting on through. He could have taken a chance, but didn't want to get a penalty and didn't want to risk getting any damage or causing damage to another car at this point in the race. So drivers are being quite cautious here in the race in terms of overtakes and braking zones as well, just getting around these, so just trying to keep these cars from taking any damage. This seemed kind of a bit reckless through qualifying, I'll be honest with you, during what we saw with quite a few cars out. I think they were just pushing maybe just a bit too much getting through that there. And what we got going on here is currently DDL running 7th. We got Marfula trying to get past him. A bit of contact between the two of them as they get around there and slide around just a bit as well. So Marfula up into 7. We got Ulek down to 9. So let's see how this is going between the 3 of them. Ulek takes a 3-second penalty for track limits there. Looks like we got the McLaren going into the pits there right now, so a bit of a change up with that as these two get up a position here, and quite a few more pit stops as well. Leclerc in the pit as well as Garuz there. So Static still leading the race out front. We got the Aston Martin and Mercedes going side by side into this. Let's see who's going to get out in front of this one. It looks like Marfola still holds it true. Let's go on board a bit with the Aston Martin driver here and see how this is actually working out. I mean, Ulek is looking for a gap to get by, just not finding the perfect one at this point in time right now. And looks like Leclerc is out of the session there as well. He's the end of the session. Not sure exactly what happened there. Didn't have the map off for a second. He could have retired in the pit stop, but I'm not sure what exactly happened with the session. Let's see if we can get back out in front right now in just a bit. And it looks like the Mercedes might be under pressure of losing that position here, as the Aston Martin was right up to the rear of him, but still lets the position go at this point as they get through sector 3 here. And this is the run down the start finish straight. They're going to go side by side into turn 1 there. Aston Martin has the outside. Let's see if he does get the position up. And he actually gets the overtake done and into the barriers on the side, which is why he wasn't risking it before. And that is him out of the session. That will be a yellow flag down in that portion of the track here right now. As we can see, the marshals waving that there. So everyone's going to continue getting through that. Let's get back out in front. We got Dissection now leading the race in the AlphaTauri out in front. We got Reska now takes over 2nd place. We got a McLaren of Static, who was previously leading. He's now out of the pits and back into 3rd position at the moment and running behind the Red Bull, trying to get a position back up if he can here. So that's about 6 drivers out now. We're down to 14 drivers, sorry, about 13 drivers I think left in this race so far. Currently on lap 12 as we get on through this. Let's see if the McLaren is able to get by on fresh mediums right now. So he's going to try to get past Reska here, but he needs to get a closer gap. Dissection into the pits puts Reska into the lead of this race right about now. Static back up into 2nd already as he tries to keep up with the Red Bull getting through turn 1 into sector 1 on lap 13. And he's going to keep that as close as he can. We do have... Let's see who's going to come out behind. Will Marfola catch up into 3rd, or will Dissection get out back before he actually gets there? Looks like he might actually take back 3rd place now, and Marfola will have to take 4th. Flavio is behind in 5th. Freeman in 6th. We got Carus in 7. DDL runs in 8. We got Peter in 9. Timney in 10. Grumpy 11. Heavy in 12 at the moment as it is ongoing. I think that Red Bull just had a bit of contact with the barriers there. Might have taken some damage from that. We're not sure as yet. Still continues to run in the race out front. 1.1 second is what the gap is. So I've lost quite a few drivers in the session so far, unfortunately. Not purposely done, but is a bit of a difficult track to get around in terms of getting practice done here as well. Down with 12 drivers remaining and not at the halfway point of the race, so we might be getting there pretty soon. Static back into the pits, might have taken some damage on that previous 2 laps there, and yep, did lose portion of the end plate on the front wing, so I think it's a bit severe enough, not getting enough downforce to get around the turns around here, so might want to have actually changed that. Let's have a look at the Red Bull. Does he have any damage? It doesn't look like he does, as he continues to race on through. Now has a bit of a gap going with Dissections running in second behind of him, so pit stops are going to be a common thing around the track here as drivers tend to take damage as they get on through the session. We're going to follow on through and go on down to 8 here with DDL in 8. This is after girls, they're in 7. Down the start finish straight as they get into the next lap. As we can see, it's a bit of a dangerous attempt taking an overtake into turn 1 unless you're already side by side with a car and possibly have the inside of that turn is what would make it just a bit easier to work with. So still very difficult, even when a car is harvesting energy in front of them. It's still very difficult getting an overtake done. You gotta hope a car goes wide or has a bit of a mistake to possibly just try and get by, or possibly just get by on the pit stops around here, which is what most drivers usually tend to try and do. So still keeping up with the 7-10 gap that is between the two of them. Trying to have a look if we have another closer gap going on. Looks like Grumpy might be chasing after Red Bull in front of him with a very close gap within a second. Alright, so still continue following on with these two for a fight room for 6th position in the race so far as it is. We only got 3 cars with penalty. Surprisingly enough, here at Monaco with only 3 cars with penalty, I'm not sure how that's even happening. Did expect quite a bit more. As we can see, DDL being held up just a little bit by Gross for a second there, as he had the pace to get by, but just no room to actually get that overtake done. We got the Ferrari of Peter catching up to them, 7/10 behind this. So going to be very interesting as the McLaren tries to push around the inside, not still able to get that overtake done. Back onto the start finish straight and into the next level. Let's see what's going to happen into turn 1. He's going to be forced around the outside, but the braking zone is what's going to be stopping him possibly from getting by. They still try to go side by side through this as the McLaren has the pace and actually tries to get around here in sector 1, gets the overtake done, puts Gross down to 7th, and Peter still following through with 4/10 behind, wondering if he's going to be trying to get an overtake done at the same time here as well. And looks like the AlphaTauri has some bit of a trouble behind, losing the rear of the car, and that allows the Ferrari to get up into 7th. He's now down into 8, and that is the McLaren out. So DDL out of the session, unfortunately. Let's get out that before it does cause a bit of a glitch there. So that's another driver out. We're now down to 11, and just when he actually got the overtake done is when he threw that car into the wall there. So unfortunate for that. We're going to follow on out in front. Let's see what's happening with the race leader here at the moment. Started getting the fastest lap of 1:11.8. Remember, he started P1 in the race. He's currently running third on the grid and trying to catch back up to the cars in front of him. Had to take an extra pit stop, which is what I think is holding him back. We got Reska here running in the lead. His teammate just around him being lapped. I think they're down in 10th. We got Dissection running in second, 3 seconds behind, 2.7 seconds behind actually. He's losing time to the car behind now. So looks like Dissection is definitely catching up here. Reska might have made a mistake out front, I'm not sure, but the gap is coming on pretty quickly, and he's going to definitely take this to his advantage and try to keep up. Static 12.7 seconds behind him. Let's see how fast he can catch up and possibly try to fight back for the lead of the race at this point, because we do have, and Reska is out of the session. I think that was his car down at the back there, had a bit of a spin for some reason. Not sure if he had a bit of a tussle with his teammate, because I think ghosting was turned off here, which I think what some of the drivers are complaining about there right about now in Discord, in terms of ghosting being off here for Monaco, and causing a bit of issues on track. And dissection with a 3-second time penalty right now. Now down to 10 drivers remaining. We're on lap 18, just getting around to the halfway point of the race here. And very interesting so far as we got it going. So dissection running in first, we got Static now running second, 11 seconds behind. So he is definitely catching up and possibly looking at taking back P1 in the race. We'll see how that's going to work up. Flavius here another 17.1 seconds behind. Of course, he has Freeman 2.7 seconds behind him, so needs to be a bit worrisome about that. You got Peter running 5th, Gurus running in 6th, chasing after. Peter out in front, can't see him as yet as he gets around turn 1 there now. So it's going to get a bit close between them. Let's have back a look at tires here at the moment as what it's at. Looks like Grumpy finally gets past, I think, and he is now up into 10, so we only 10 drivers remaining out of 20 that started the race, and we're on lap 19. Just call this about the halfway point of the race. Still got quite a way more to get on through here, another 20 laps or so before we finish off the race. And we can see Peter is out. Guru's almost hitting into the back of that Ferrari there and causing damage to himself, so he gets past, and that Ferrari is now stuck there at that point on track. As you can see, all the cars trying to get around him right now. Tim Lee gets around there as well. He's up into 7th now. So we got both Mercedes. No, sorry, not both Mercedes. I got Fuller running here. His teammate is already out. We got Tim Lee running here. His teammate is out. I remember Tim Lee started 20th on the grid, as it is right now. Still running in this race, surprisingly. And all the way up into 7th at this point. And no penalties as well, so let's see how this is going to work out. Needs to keep it as clean as they can here, avoiding damage to the cars, and we're going to get out back front here with Freeman in the LP and see where he's catching up a bit to Flavius. It's a pretty close gap, about 8/10, so I'm not calling that a bit close here because it can lead to a possible overtake or even him getting by if an incident does happen out front. So he's possibly looking at getting up into a podium position here if he can finish this race, and that's going to be kind of what the point we're at right now. Drivers are going to have to try as much as they can to just finish off the race itself, just to get some points in. I think that's the most important thing right about now. So I'm going to switch back to the overhead cam and keep an eye on these two as they get on through the session into the next lap here. I think we're running still on lap 20 at the moment. And we got Freeman into the pits at the moment. Let's see if this is going to change anything up or not. Okay, so still on with this, only draft with 9 drivers in the session. Do we have any close gaps that we can follow it? The switch on back out in front. That section still leads the race. We got Static chasing after him here in second. 6.1 seconds is what the gap is. Needs to keep these laps as clean as he can. A bit on the same strategy with him out front on lap 21 running right now. And it looks like he is starting to gain some time at this point here. 5.9 down to 5.8 seconds right now. So he needs to keep this going here right about now if he wants to catch up to that section in front just to possibly get a chance of getting that race win there. Because let's have a quick look at the penalty situation at what it is right now. It's a 3-second penalty for that section. It's a 3-second penalty for Garuz there, and Heavy has a 3-second as well. So Static just needs to get within a 3-second range here and can possibly take away the win from that section up front. Still will get a podium position, of course, because Flavius is 28.7 seconds behind. This, of course, is kind of due to the penalty situation that we have going on track. So let's bring this back and just take a few things off here and see where we're going to be at the end of this race. How many drivers are actually going to finish off and get points for the session itself, because I highly doubt anyone is getting points if you don't finish the race and get across the finish line on the end of lap 39 here. As you can see, the penalties are going to start to come in just a bit more. We're following on with Tim Lee at the moment, who has Heavy in Red Bull just behind him, very, very close by actually. Sorry about that. So back on again. Looks like the gap has gone away just a bit here down in the back right about now. Out front we got a 5.1 second gap with Dissecting and Static. We're gonna see where that's gonna go in about a few laps time. Flavius there still another 34 seconds behind, so he still has a lot of time to deal with. But looking at Dissecting and Static though, both of them can actually get another pit stop in this race without even costing themselves positions at this point here. Of course, they're looking at positions that the two of them are currently at. We're still on with Tim Lee right about now, who's getting lapped by Static here. At the moment, he has a gap out in front with Freeman about, about Heavy about 2.2 seconds. 7.8 seconds, sorry. I'm trying to see how far away he is. I think he might have taken some damage there to the car. Yep, looks like he did lose an end plate. Looks like he's going to continue on through that. Just keep an eye out front, see what's happening right about now. Because this race has gone from good to bad very, very quickly. Getting around to the halfway point. Started off pretty well, even though we're a bit of a pilot, but started off pretty well, I gotta say. Still lost a lot of drivers, which is not that surprising here. It is Monaco either way. Have been losing drivers on this track for a lot of different races we've streamed. And can't be surprised by the same happening here. So Static 5.2 seconds, but the gap is right now about now, keeping a bit constant as he gets on through that. I'm trying to have a look if we have any closer gap. Merfolo possibly getting a close gap with Freeman up front, 1.9 seconds. I think it's because of the soft tires. Might be catching up just a bit, but being lapped by the race leader here right now as he gets around, and he's going to continue on through. So I think they're going to be having to respect the blue flags right about now. Might be losing them a bit of time, but they will have to allow those cars out in front who are lapping them to get by. And gaps are changing quite quickly as we continue with this. 4.6 seconds out front right about now. Looks like that gap is dropping at this point. And looks like we have Dissection into the pits, possibly taking some damage. Let's see if he's doing a front wing change here or not. And he is doing a front wing change, so he did take some damage. This, of course, puts Static back into the lead of this race, right where he started in P1. And he's going to continue back in there, and he's going to get a bit of a lead against Dissection, who will be back out, but with a bit of a gap behind. And I highly doubt he's going to be able to catch up before the race closes off here, because we got possibly about just under 10 laps or so remaining before we close off the Monaco Grand Prix at this point. And a pretty interesting gap he now has, as we're having Dissection get out on track. A 20.3 second gap is what he currently has there. Flavio's just behind that, 46.7 seconds. So it looks like Static might actually be in a point where if he does gain a bit more time, might not actually be able to do a stop if he needs to, just in case he happens to maybe take some damage on that car and possibly get her back. Still taking P1 in the race itself, but he's going to have to look at the gap that he currently has. Possibly needs about 24 seconds or at least, I think, here in Monaco before taking a stop and getting back out in P1. Because as we saw, Dissection took a stop and he did get by pretty quickly. Only about a 4 second is what difference is what they had. And going down here to Grumpy right about now as he chases after Merfolk. Looks like he's gonna be looking to get by at the end of this tunnel section. Gets into the barriers on the side there a bit. Might have taken some damage, I'm not sure. Just trying to keep the car going as much as he can here. Merfolk takes a bit of a slide. And he still keeps on going there. Tim Lee just behind of this as well. That gap has come down pretty quickly. The Aston Martin trying to get by as well. He's down at P9 down at the back here. And the Williams has to take a bit of the runoff as he has a bit of a mistake going on there. Tim Lee now about an 8/10 behind. The Mercedes continue to chase after him. So Static going to continue on out front. Of course, that section has a penalty as well, which is going to affect his race there. Against possibly getting back up into P1. We'll see how that's going to work out, but at this point not looking so great. And looks like Heavy and Red Bull taking a stop here right about now, getting a wing change as well. Might have taken some damage, getting onto a new set of softs, which will push all the way to the end of the race on at this point here. Looks like just over approximately about 12 laps or so remaining at the moment. Let's have a look, see if we can see what's happening. About 12 laps remaining before we close off the race. I think I had it wrong in the previous one there. Alright guys, let's have a closer look and see what's happening on the track here. So Freeman here, 6.4 seconds with a chase after Girls there for P4, and it doesn't look like he's actually getting too much time. They both have penalties at the moment as they have it. So on lap 28, let's have a look where our race leader is on track, getting around the sector 2. On lap 28 right now, 19.3 seconds is where the gap is. So Dissection there in second. He has a 34-second lead against Flavius for third. So it looks like those three are looking to possibly just take top 3 places on the podium there right now. Girls looking to take P4 in their race. Looks like Freeman might be P5, but it's still a bit close to call this right about now. Still got 11.5 laps to go. So still let this be until possibly we get around lap 35 or so and have a quick look at possibly what the finishing positions might be for the top 9 drivers remaining in the race right now. With only 9 drivers currently remaining in the race here as well. I'm trying to have a look if any gaps are going to potentially be forming anytime soon here. I would say those gaps are staying just a bit constant as we get on through the race. Should have at least another 14 to 15 minutes of racing left. Or maybe even less than that. We'll see what's going to happen here. It looks like it's Heavy gets another penalty there as well. Goes at 9.1 seconds behind Flavius Runnings, not improving that time right about now, so staying just a bit concentrated. We're going to go down to Freeman here, see how far away he actually is from Gross right about now in front of him. It looks like he still does have quite a bit of a gap, and he's being lapped, I think, by a car there. And looks like we got Flavius into the pits here. Let's see what's happening in this case, because this is possibly going to lead into Gross getting ahead of him. Where is he on track right now as he gets around? Looks like he is going to be getting up into P3. That's a podium position for him right about now. Flavius down to P4 with this. Let's see if he's going to be losing another position. Freeman goes up into P4 now. So Flavius is now down to 5th. Tim Lee quite a way behind, so I highly doubt he's going to be getting up another position here. So Gross gets up behind his team. It looks like AlphaTauri might be finishing both cars on the podium, and a pretty good set of points they will be getting in that aspect there. Let's see what we got to look at what the gap is between Freeman and Gross at the moment, because it's only a 3-second gap, so the gap is about 5.4 seconds. So it looks like that will stand as what it is there right about now. Looks like Tim Lee has gained those positions in the race so far, and no penalties as well, so not looking too bad for him to finish off this race. Let's have a look down at the back of the grid here with Merfola right now in the Mercedes. Getting out on, he's running on 3 laps old tires, but chasing after a Grand Prix, possibly just for 8th position. Neither of them have any penalties, so could be a battle for just P8, just depending on what happens. I think he might be just hoping that the car in front of him just has to take a stop for some reason, possibly taking damage or something, and he will be able to get a position up here. We'll see if that's going to be the case or not, as he's going to be being lapped by Flavius there, who's currently running in P5, so has to let that car go by. And I think the no ghosting is a bit frustrating for the drivers here at the moment as well, especially on this track rather than any other track on the calendar that we do have. And there goes a bit of carbon fiber off the Mercedes at the moment, on lap 31 right now of 39. Got about 8.5 laps remaining to finish out the race. Let's switch it back out in front, have a look at what the gap currently is. Dissection about 17.6 seconds behind, 17.3 now. Looks like he might be possibly gaining some time, but not sure if that's going to do him any good at this point here, unless Static makes some sort of mistake, which I highly doubt he might. Looks like that Mercedes there just made a bit of a mistake. I think that was Merfolo losing quite a bit of time right now behind Grumpy. Might have to take another stop. So Grumpy gets up and holds on to P8 and is going to continue on with that. Keeping on board a bit with Dissection here on with Garosi's teammate, who is about almost a minute down behind him. So quite a bit of a gap to him to work with. Down below is Freeman. They're still running in 4th right now, 2.1 seconds behind. Garosi is still chasing after him and not having the best of luck. We now have Flavius with 7.4 second gap behind Freeman and very fresh soft tires on. Let's see if it's going to do him any good in terms of catching up, because if he can get within 3 seconds or whatever the penalty situation is, he can possibly get up into P4 at the end of the race. We'll see if he's able to do that as we get around to it, get a yellow flag situation around here, as I think that Mercedes is possibly getting into the pits and might be retiring, I'm not sure. And yep, Merfolo did retire the car into the pits there, so now that leaves us with 8 drivers to complete the race at this point. Freeman here, 1.6 seconds is what the gap is. He is definitely catching up right now to Garos in front of him. Both of them having penalties, and I think it's both with a 3-second penalty at this point. Not sure if it's increased since we last actually checked, down to 1.5 seconds, so he's gaining and gaining time. Let's see if he's going to be trying to get an overtake done before this race comes to an end. 16.9 seconds out in front of Static and Dissection. He's gaining time as well, but not going to possibly be able to get close enough before the end of the race to get that overtake done, unless Static makes some sort of significant mistake on track, which can't really count on that happening too much, even though he's on pretty old tires and 19 laps done on those tires so far. So he's driving pretty well in terms of just keeping the car from getting any damage and whatnot there, because if he did take any damage, I'm quite sure he would have had to take a stop, and if he does take a stop at this point, he will lose the lead to that section. I will have to go into second, and highly doubt he'll possibly be able to get an overtake done before the race actually comes to an end here. So we're still keeping an eye on the gap between Freeman and Gross here for P3. And this is for a final podium position, so I highly doubt that Freeman is going to want to give up on this fight here. 1.7 seconds. He's lost about 2 tenths for the previous lap. But he's still fighting to push on backward through with this. Down to 1.3 seconds very quickly there right now. So he seems to be gaining time over here in Sector 3. And he's trying to get within that DRS zone. Of course, there's the one DRS portion on track here, but still can be some sort of advantage as he gets on track. Looks like Gross is harvesting energy just a bit out front. So that might just give him a bit of a run to possibly try and catch up. Gap down to 1.4 seconds right now. And the Alpine driver is still trying to catch up. Out in front, 16.7 seconds. That's a bit constant between static and dissection right now. And they're trying to keep it as much as they can that way. Girls are losing a lot of time to his teammate, of course, which is causing Freeman to catch up to him. Gap is now within a second. And I think Freeman is going to try to keep it there as much as he can, as he's providing a bit of exciting racing for us down to the end portion of this race. 5.5 laps remaining to close off the Monaco Grand Prix here for Midwest F1 Racing League for Division 4 at the moment. I think he's trying to keep the gap a bit constant as he can. 1.2 seconds is gone back up a second, so he's not going to have that DRS advantage that he's kind of hoping for at this point. Currently 4.5 laps remaining now. Okay, so into lap 36, getting just a bit spaced out between most of our drivers here, so not really too much to follow on. But Freeman has lost a bit of time right now. 3.3 seconds is what his current gap is. We only got 7 drivers remaining in out of 20 who started this race to finish it off right now. And assuming that's just going to be the 7 drivers who are getting points here, because drivers who DNF should not be getting any points as far as I know for most of the leagues. I think that's how they usually do it. And I'm quite sure that's how Midwest F1 does it there as well. 17.1 seconds, but the gap is out front between static and dissection. Of course, a big gap between him and his teammate. Freeman only 3.4 seconds down right about now. Let's have a look at penalties, and we'll take it to the end of the race on that there. So with a 3-second penalty between the only 3 drivers who have penalties on track, looks like Freeman still stands a chance of getting P3 on the grid, but has to get within a 3-second gap of Gross out in front of him, and thus seems to be a bit of a difficult task for him right about now. It was down to just under a second, but for some reason he seems to have lost quite a bit of time here. I think he's still trying to catch back up, but I highly doubt he's going to be able to do this within the next 2.5 laps that remain, unless Gross does make some sort of mistake. So we'll see what's going to happen in that case there, as he's going to continue to chase after him here. And looks like we have a blue flag situation right about now. He has Dissection, who is currently in second, coming to get past him here. And he's just going to take a bit of the runoff here, just allow him to get past. Doesn't take a penalty for that because he didn't gain any sort of advantage through it. But of course loses time to the car in front of him now, which is costing him a potential third place on the podium position here. Currently on lap 38 as far as I can see here, and I think that's with static there, getting around sector 2. We're on Dissection here. He has his teammate almost a lap behind him at this point. Freeman is still now 8.9, now 9 seconds behind Guru, so definitely losing out and possibly getting a third place position in this race. We got Flavius there 6 seconds behind Freeman, of course, not close enough to actually get that position away from him. Team leader, no penalties for him as well, but still running in 6. Grumpy there in 7, 56 seconds behind. So not kind of the results we would be expecting now at the end of a session like this, but a very difficult track to deal with, depending on what safety cars are set on there as well. I think we're going to take it to the end of the race as the way it is there right now. So we're going to say on the final lap, possibly we just saw a race leader here, Static, leading on through, started P1. And it looks like he is going to be finishing the race and possibly taking that win as well, because he did lose the lead at some point and then gained it back, fought his way back through the grid, got it back from Dissection there after Dissection had to take another stop. And looks like he will be able to get across the line P1 as he gets around sector 2 right about now on lap 39 here for the MONACO Grand Prix. Not a bad race from him though. I think he's done quite a number of laps on those set of medium tires that he has on there. And he's getting through it quite well, even if he takes a penalty or two at this point here. I think as long as he does not DNF the session, he will be getting P1 for this race, and will definitely be able to keep that because it's quite a big gap going down. It's only going to go down to about 15.3 seconds, but then that penalty comes into play. Actually, no, it's starting to just be a bit more, about 21 seconds, just because of that section happening. 3-second penalty. I was kind of counting with the way around, and he gets across the line and takes the win for the MONACO Grand Prix. Not a bad finish there for the McLaren driver. Gets some points in there for his team as well, as he is the only McLaren to actually finish the race as well. But of course, we have both AlphaTauris who will be getting across the line here, getting points, and both of them getting podium positions here as well. We got Dissection about to get across the line here and takes second place on the podium. We got his teammate gets across, takes third place on the podium as well. We got Freeman coming along in the moment with Flavius behind of him. He will take fourth and finish off that. Grumpy already takes 7th as he already crosses the line there. Where is Flavius on track? Gets across, takes 5th, and Tim Lee, the only driver who's currently getting through sector 3 at the moment, to remaining to get across the line. He will be finishing the race and taking P6. Not a bad finish for these 7 drivers in the race, who all will be getting points, and take a pretty good race from them so far. Getting through the session, so not too so bad for Division 4 here. Of course, still not a lot of drivers finish off this session, but we'll have to give them a chance and see on any other track to see what's going to be the situation in terms of the qualifying and the race session itself there. But so far so good. We'll have and there we go, Tim Lee getting driver of the day. Of course, started 20th on the grid, finishing around P6 or 7, I think it was. I think it was P6 for him. Okay, so there we have it. The results here from Midwest F1 Racing League for Division 4. We got Static, our race winner here in the McLaren, takes the fastest lap in the session there as well and wins the MONACO Grand Prix. We got Dissection taking 2nd on the podium. We got Garus taking 3rd on the podium along with them. Freeman finishes in 4th. Flavius takes 5th. Tim Lee takes 6th and driver of the day, and Grumpy finishes in 7th. And that's it for drivers who finish off the race there. Thank you guys for joining on the session with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream as it was there. Not maybe as expected as you guys to go, but hopefully in the next race we'll see what's going to happen with that. But still an exciting qualifying, an exciting race. We had through quite a few interesting battles in the race itself. So good job on the drivers who got to finish up that race. Unfortunate for the drivers who were not able to finish. It was good to see a full grid for the start of the Monaco Grand Prix here with Midwest F1, and look forward to see quite a few more races with these guys as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that session there. Thank you guys for joining on. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel, follow us on Twitch and on Facebook. All links are in the description of the video there, and remember our Discord channel invite is in the description there as well. We'll see you guys on the next stream.